Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us across the fence. I'm Fran Stoddard. It's the first Thursday of the month, and that means it's recipe time. During the month of March, these days are getting longer, the temperature is beginning to climb, and March is also host to Ireland's national holiday, which we celebrate as St. Patrick's Day. Let's join Marco in the kitchen for some Irish recipes.
Hi, I'm Marco Ayala, and I'm here to share another recipe with all of you. We're already in March, and it feels like spring is maybe just around the corner if we're lucky. And as you can tell, I'm already wearing green because St. Patrick's Day is literally just around the corner. So, keeping that in mind, I decided that this month maybe we should try a couple Irish-inspired recipes. And there's so many to choose from. However, I don't know if you noticed that always it's corned beef hash and maybe corned beef and cabbage. So I decided that I wanted to make something different. Maybe a side dish that could go well with our corned beef and cabbage that is so popular because it's so good. So keeping that in mind, I decided to make an Irish potato pie. And just look at how good this looks. So let me tell you more about how I made it. You're going to start by putting puff pastry into an 8 or 9 inch tart pan or a pie plate and crimp the edges. Make sure to remove the excess dough along the sides, and if there's any gaps, make sure to use the extra dough to fill that in so you have a nice even crust. And now we're going to get ready the main ingredient for this recipe, which is potatoes. You're going to take about 5 medium potatoes or 4 large potatoes, peel them, and slice them thin. And while you have your cutting board out, you're also going to chop 1 onion into small pieces, as well as 1 tablespoon fresh dill. And if you don't have any fresh dill at home, you can always use the dry kind that comes in those little packets. However, making the trip to the grocery store to get some fresh dill is really going to pay off because it's going to elevate your recipe and it's going to bring all those flavors out in your potato pie. Once everything is chopped up, you're going to take 7 pieces of bacon and you're going to saute them in a large skillet until they're nice and crispy. Once your bacon is cooked, you're going to set it aside, and in the same skillet, you're going to add 4 tablespoons butter and the onions, and you're going to cook them until they're nice and translucent. Then you're going to add the potatoes and the dill. And you're going to season it with half a teaspoon salt and 1 teaspoon ground pepper. And you're going to make sure to stir it well so the potatoes are really coated in that nice bacon grease and all the flavors really combine. Finally, you're going to add the crumbled bacon and you're going to mix it well. And you're going to cook your potatoes for about 3 to 5 minutes. If the potatoes are not cooked all the way through, don't worry, because after that, you're going to bring your skillet and you're going to pour the potatoes into your puff pastry. Then you're going to crimp the edges just like this to make a nice big edge. Then to top it off, you are going to pour in half a cup heavy cream and you're going to bake it at 350 degrees for 30 to 35 minutes. And that is it. In 35 minutes, you're going to have a wonderful potato pie with this puff pastry around it. And it's just this really nice comfort food. It's Irish and it's a perfect side dish to pretty much any meal. So I'm gonna take a little portion out of here just so you can see it because, oh my gosh, look at those layers. It is just so beautiful. So I hope you give this recipe a try because I am sure all of your family is really going to love it. That is not it. Guess what? We have to have dessert, right? So for my next dish, I also have something that is Irish inspired. And what could be better than a Irish cream dessert? And Look at these beauties. Oh my gosh, and I wish you could smell them because the Irish cream smell is just wonderful. So let me tell you how I put this together. For the brownie base, you're gonna take 1 box fudge brownie mix, 1/4 cup vegetable oil, 2 tablespoons Irish cream liqueur, and 2 eggs. And you're gonna mix it well until blended. If you don't have Irish cream liqueur at home, you can always substitute for milk and Irish cream flavoring that you can find at the store, or maybe some vanilla. However, it's really worth you try it with the Irish liqueur, and don't worry, nobody's gonna get tipsy on this dessert because the alcohol is pretty much going to evaporate completely once you bake it. Then you're gonna bake the brownie base for 23 to 26 minutes or until a toothpick inserted in the center comes out clean. Now this recipe is gonna take a little patience, mostly because you want to wait about an hour for your brownie base to be completely cooled. Now let me tell you how I made the topping. In a bowl, you're gonna mix 8 ounces whipping heavy cream, 1/4 cup milk, 1/4 cup vanilla instant pudding, 3 tablespoons cream liqueur, and then you're gonna mix it until soft peaks form. Once your topping is ready, you're gonna take it and then you're gonna spread it over the brownie part, and you're gonna refrigerate it for 2 hours or overnight if possible. And once your dessert is cool and ready to come out of the fridge, you're going to top it with about 1/2 cup of toffee bits. And I can guarantee that people are going to love this dessert because it is just absolutely delicious. And the taste of the Irish cream really comes through and makes this a very special dessert. So there you have it. 2 wonderful recipes to celebrate St. Patrick's Day. And here we have our potato pie and your brownies. So I really hope you give this a try. And remember that you can find these 2 recipes along with many other recipes in our archives in the Across the Fence website. Also, make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Also, like us on Facebook or follow us on Twitter and get the latest Across the Fence updates in your phone or your computer. And with my little helper, Rudy, who has the luck of the Irish, we wish you a very happy St. Patrick's Day. Right, Rudy? Happy cooking.
Thank you, Marco. And thank you, Rudy. Always good to see you both. March is said to come in like a lion and out like a lamb. Well, it is lambing season. So our next stop is the Parsons farm in Richford. Longtime viewers may remember UVM Extension livestock specialist Chet Parsons. Chet is now retired, but he's still tending his flock.
We're at the Parsons farm in Richford, Vermont. I'm Chet Parsons with my wife Kate. We've been raising sheep here for probably the last 30 years or so. We're supposed to be retired, but during lambing we're probably working harder than we've ever worked. One day I think we had 5 sets of twins and a set of triplets.
Is that common?
Well, it usually happens once or twice during lambing when it all happens. But, you know, with 80 lambs, you've got to get more than one a day. Between my wife and I, we spend quite a lot of time in the barn when they're lambing. You know, you've got to make sure. And I've been raising sheep that are pretty good mothers, so you know, we don't have to do that much as a rule, but you do have to take care of them. When you get up here and you find lambs, we put them in a lambing pen, you know, so give them a few days to get attached to each other, you know, so we can watch them and make sure they're doing okay, and then they get turned out with the rest. Sometimes you get some that don't have enough milk and you have to supplement the milk. That's usually true with triplets. Usually the mother doesn't have enough milk to feed all three, and sometimes you get an older ewe that's put all of her energy into having two beautiful lambs, but she doesn't have enough milk to feed them, so you have to supplement the milk. It's just part of the game.
Are they rambunctious?
Sometimes they form a lamb pack and tear around the barn here and kick up their heels and have a great time, yeah. But other times they're just happy to just lay and sleep and, you know, eat and sleep. The singles that really grow fast, you know, they'll be ready for market in probably 5 months or so. The majority will be more like 6 or 7, and then there'll be some stragglers that'll drag later than that, but yeah. But our plan is to get them up and going in good shape before grass gets here. And then when grass gets here, because they're pretty much totally grass-fed and grass-finished. I don't feed any grain. I do feed some alfalfa pellets. Right now the lambs can get in the creep and get alfalfa pellets if they want. And when the mothers are in the lambing pens, they get a little extra in the form of alfalfa pellets, but I don't feed any grain. Well, if you think you're going to get rich doing it, don't do it, because it's a challenge. But and another thing, there aren't good markets available, so you pretty much have to develop your own markets, which we've done over the years. And that's always a challenge. Most farmers like the idea of raising animals. They don't like the idea of selling their product. So sometimes that's been a challenge, but we've been at it long enough, so we do pretty well.
Great to see those new arrivals, and as always, our thanks to the Parsons family. Once again, thank you for joining us across the fence. I'm Fran Stoddard. Stay well.